Hey guys, and welcome to another cabin video. We got big things happening today. So we're moving away, well, a little bit from our gas generator. As you know, it provides some hum, some noise. When we want to operate at quiet time, which is most of the time, the gas generator works at high load capacity, puts out a lot of power, works for our tools. It's helped us with all the construction. We want to have something that's more silent. So we're going to move to solar. You see these big trees over here? That's our only access to the sun in the canopy out here. And we're not willing to cut down a whole swath of the forest just to get a little bit of power that we need. So we're going to be climbing the tree. By the end of this video, we should have power in the cabin permanently. It's going to power all our needs. All right, so Holden and I actually put the trim out, the baseboard, the trim, the table. Yeah, we cut up a table. We did a lot of milling the other time. Cut everything up. We tarped it right here, Holden and I. We had it all the spacers and everything. And yeah, the tarp failed completely. So ruined, well, it didn't ruin it. It got wet. If it would have been any longer, it would have got mold on it. So I've had to move it all in. Originally, I didn't want to put it inside the cabin, because obviously it takes up a bunch of room, and then I have to pull it back out, sand it, and then bring it back in. So it was an extra move. But in hindsight, it was probably the best way to do it because they got absolutely soaked, completely soaked. So anyway, I stacked them all in here. They're all stacked up, wet. There's some white mold forming on them. It's not a big deal. I'll sand that all off. But so now we're going to be sanding now. We're not going to be putting the trim in today. Yeah, put a little wrench in the plans, doesn't it? Anyway, we are going to get to test the Apex battery bank. So I'm going to fire a fan up right off the battery bank and get this stuff drying so that I can actually sand it at some point. Flick it on here and it gives us some readouts. What does it say? It says 100% charged. Obviously we plugged it in to charge it originally. It says 4 watts, 12.51 volts, I guess. I'm not sure what any of that stuff means. We're going to plug our fan in here. And instantly we have power. So I'm going to let that run out for now. Try to dry it as best possible. Probably leave the back window open, the front door, and get a breeze through it after this is run through. But I want to give it a bit head start because it's really humid right now. It's going to take forever to dry. So sorry, my friend, but you will not be used right now. We'll put you back in here and we'll use you another time. All right guys, it's the next day. We're back at it. Had to move all the stuff in, as you know. So I pulled it all back out. Well, not all of it. I pulled the trim back out anyway. So I've got the trim stacked out here. We got the generator going. We got the sander going. So what I'm going to do is spend the next million hours sanding it. I did a timer on the floorboards for the top. It took 15 minutes per board. It's not going to take 15 minutes per board for the trim. So I've got just the trim now. The trim, and then I'll do the base. We don't have a lot of baseboard, primarily because we don't have a lot of baseboard to do. But I want to get the trim done so that Kevin can come out here and he can put it up all in one shot. And then we've also cut a table here. This is a table. It's a big, giant table. So it's a little heavy. It's a little wet still. I'm probably going to sand it anyway. Everything inside here is going to be rustic, just like it's rustic on the outside. It's just going to be a little bit less textured than this. Probably I want to get some of the curls off. I don't want to sand it till it's smooth. So you can see there's lots of curls. We had to put it through the table saw to get it to the right width. So we're just going to sand off the top here, and then we'll sand off the edges here. And then we'll be set to go. You don't want to watch me do this, do you? Come inside here. We don't have any power hooked up now because the generator's not running. You see we did a lot of progress on here. The ceiling is mostly in. We got a little bit of the strapping left to do. We have the trim to do too. So hopefully we're going to take care of that. I'm going to do the trim around the windows, all around, and the trim around the doors, and then the baseboard as well. So it's looking pretty good. We've got just little pigtails in here for light. But all the electrical is all in. We've got the switches in. So basically all we need is power. So the system that's coming is from Apex. It's Energy. And I'll give you an affiliate code down below. You can use that. You get I think you get a discount, but otherwise you get it credited to me, which helps me, my channel. It helps company obviously support videos like this, as they gave us all this stuff to try out and then to give you guys some feedback. I'm gonna take you over right now. I'm just gonna give you a quick little tour of what we have as far as gadgets. Basically, we have 2 solid panels. These are the ones that are gonna go up in the tree. So we have to figure out a way to rig these up. On the backs of the panels, there's not really a whole lot to rig to. So I'm gonna bring Mark Gowdy in from Growing Up Gowdy. He's a solar power expert. He actually rigs these, well, not these exact ones, but he powers on houses. Like, he does this as a side job, but he does it like, I don't know, half a dozen times a year, so he knows what he's doing. So they also gave us the soft panel. So this is the soft panel. Here is a portable panel. It's really thin, really lightweight, and that'll hook up directly. You know, we'll put that in the sun. So this is something we can bring out on our off-grid adventures. You know, when we do the Wilderness Living Challenge, way off and we need to power our camera gear and all that stuff. So basically what it does is it feeds into this little unit here, and it's a battery bank power portable. It's I think its weight is 25 pounds. Doesn't feel like 25 pounds to me, but I'm quite strong. It's jokes. So that's portable. We can put that in the car and take it with us. So it's mostly going to be here at the cabin, getting power from the solar. But when I need to take it on an adventure, I just grab it and I take it with the solar. So with the flexible panel here. So that's, you know, the basic premise behind being totally portable. I just set that out in the sun and let it charge, and then I can plug in whatever I need to. So the real trick is going to be getting up here. So we've got, I think we got a 25-foot ladder to bridge it. And then Mark's got some climbing sticks, which he uses for hunting, and he's got a platform. Anyway, I'm not sure how he's going to do it. I'm happy he's here to do it, because it looks to be about 30 feet, maybe 40 feet. He says he's not afraid of heights. I'm not afraid of heights, but I am afraid of dying. And Kevin is afraid of heights. He's got no interest in doing this whatsoever. All right, let's get started. All right, man, what's the plan?
So I got the climbing sticks up and a Predator platform. I'm going to go up and tether this to the tree and then drop it down and use it as a hoist to hoist the frame with the panels on it up and try and swing it around the tree and then lag it right to the tree, the whole frame. So I got to swing it around. You'll have to hold onto the rope to make sure it doesn't come down. I'll ratchet strap it to the tree temporarily, and then I'll drive 6-inch lags right into the tree, and that should hold it up.
So while Mark's working away on the solar stuff, I'm gonna go take you guys over to the back side of the property where I'm getting ready for white-tailed deer season. The bow season's coming up. We gotta do a little bit of prep. I showed you guys that wooden ladder stand, deer stand. Plan to rehabilitate that, but it's pretty rickety. So I'm gonna bring a ladder over here, which is actually safe to use. We'll put it up against the tree and we'll check it out to see just what it looks like. But to get over there, I gotta cut a trail. The pathway through here is all filled in, and I've managed to weave through the woods to find the stand a few times, but every time I go I kind of get lost. So I'm going to put a little bit of trail marking tape, bring the saw, and cut myself a nice little pathway through all the way up to the stand so that I can actually sneak through quietly right from the cabin. I do plan on getting a white-tailed deer this season during the archery, but it's going to be a challenge. It's looking like a pretty solid trail now, all the way back. I put up a trail camera here to see what's going on. You can see the deer track right there. Deer have been starting to use this trail, but when I put the trail camera on it, it spooks the deer and they stop using it. This isn't a heavily traveled trail, but I think it's mostly because at the far side here, especially once you get near the creek, there's a beaver creek here that it's hard for them to traverse. There's no obvious trail in through here, and the more you get into it, the thicker it gets. So I've got some trail marking tape. I don't like to use trail marking tape because I just find it unsightly. But I've tried to navigate this so many different times. Here's the creek here. It's pretty dry right now. There's lots of little frogs in here, which is a good sign of a healthy system. I'm just gonna do a first run and mark out the trail with the tape. And then I'm gonna come back with the saw and then open it up and try to get the ladder through here. I'm gonna kind of go this way. I'm gonna put some, as I go, I'm gonna put up a little bit of trail mark tape, come up a little bit further, and then I'll add another section here. And you don't want to put it on something you're going to cut eventually. And we want to try to find a way that we don't have to stumble through here all the time, because if we stumble through, we're never going to be able to sneak up on the deer. They're just going to hear us coming. And because this is pretty thick in here, it's probably an area where the deer actually bed. Tree stand is just up the way here. I'm gonna take you over and have a look. But obviously I have to go all the way back and grab the saw now. So there's the stand there, the old stand. I'm not gonna be able to sit in. Got a trail camera up over here on this tree. I'm getting lots of activity here coming through on a regular basis. So before I go, just turn on, say hi. Before I leave, I should say, I'm gonna pick that up. Let's have a quick look at this tree over here. This is not a ladder you would not want to climb up at all. So this is gonna get tossed over. All right guys, we made it back successfully. Now we're gonna do round 2 with the saw this time. So we're just gonna fatten up wherever we need to get rid of some of these trees. What we want to do is actually make it inviting for the deer to want to come through. And deer like to travel easy paths where they don't have to do a lot of work, but they also like to travel really narrow paths where they feel safe. And every time we walk through it, here, if we just break a couple branches, we'll be good. This would make an excellent piece for a bow drill kit. It's super dry. You got to get rid of these little snappy branches because when you step on them, you let everything in the forest know you're there. All right, one more trip back. I'll bring the saw with me. I'll leave my bag here, but I got to bring that ladder all the way through the bush here to the tree stand. Whew. Oh, stuck in the mud. You guys think taking a deer is easy? Whew. I mean, certainly there are easier ways to do stuff, but you gotta get where the deer at. And here, they're in the bushes. Just on the other side of the property now, it's all soybean over here, and this is good because I've got a stand over here. Just gonna go check it out right now, make sure it's all set. Otherwise they're just gonna make a bunch of noise coming in here on the opener and scare all the deer away. You can hear something dropping out of the tree. It sounds like apples. It's a big apple tree over here. Come look at this. Deer love these wild apples, and they'll come and grab them. Messed up looking apple tree, not doing too good, but it's dropping a ton of apples around here. And my stand is actually just up the way over here. A secondary apple tree, and this one's producing too. And I actually get a pretty good vantage on this apple tree from my stand. Deer tend to mill around in here. It's kind of a staging area before they get out to the field. So it's been very productive for me. Okay, I found my tree stand. There used to be a deer trail over here. Check out this trail. So I shot deer right about here a lot of times because my tree stand, which you completely can't see, get a little bit closer. Can you see that black thing right there? So I got to come back with a saw and cut this down. I always have to cut this mess of trees down. But anyway, that's the tree stand here. And then as you saw, the trail is right here. So all those deer that are coming through here, they'll go pick a couple apples and then they'll come back, and they're gonna head out to that field over there. So I'll take a minute right now, just break down some of these trees so it's not a huge change by the time the season rolls around. Finally, we get to have a look. Come on up. Well, it looks like just a little platform here. I think I would like to make it probably twice as big as it is right now, and then fit 2 people. Of course, that's going to be a little bit of a challenge. Maybe I could do like a 2-tier one. I could do a bottom tier and then a top tier, and put one person down here and then one person up top. Just make 2 different platforms. The trees have to be wide enough to fit 2 people. I think if I go platform level here, I think with everything I might be able to get 2 people in there. Oh, there's no doubt I wouldn't want to go up on there without a harness. Definitely not. So there'd be a lot of work to do. If nothing else, I could just throw a regular ladder stand up here, or a platform stand, if I don't get to building this thing, because it's going to be a lot more work to build it permanently. But it's got a pretty sweet view. It's all open hardwoods all around me. You can see there's lots of places to shoot in here. Just got to clear some of the branches out, but of course when the leaves drop, there's plenty of shooting lanes. And I can see all the way up to the open field up there. So this is going to be a pretty good spot. So I'm just going to pull the card here, and then on the way back, by the time you guys get back to the cabin, by the time I get back to the cabin, you're just going to see what's going on back here. I'm hoping that big buck's hanging around. He's been cruising through here. Meet you back at the cabin. We got our form all made, so now all we got to do is figure out how to get up the tree. We got a piece of rope that's a little too short, so I don't think Mark wants to climb up the tree carrying it. I mean, ideally we'd probably have like a 40-foot rope and then just have 2 people, or maybe 80-foot rope, loop it over something at the top, wrap it around, and then have 2 guys pulling, one guy pulling, one guy pushing. But Kevin's not here, he had to work today. We're not working, are we? What are you thinking?
I'm hoping if I get to the Predator platform and drop this down, that it will reach to the top of the ladder. And then if we slide the frame up to the ladder, to the top of the ladder, and then tie it on there. But until I get up there again, I won't know. Just start pulling all these ropes down, it doesn't go that far. Just got to get my tether around the Predator platform. I like using hunting gear for another purpose. Well, that's a good thing, but the sad part is once you start pulling all these ropes down, it doesn't go that far. I don't think it's gonna work for you. It sucks, because it's a hell of a climb, but I just don't see it working. Yeah, we gotta figure something out.
Man, we had this whole thing planned out, and we did so much work this morning too. 3 hours for nothing. So we had the plan to build this frame here, a couple pressure treated 2x4s with the rail for the solar panels, and then Mark was gonna go climb all the way up the tree. Well, he did go climb all the way up the tree, 40 feet up with the extension ladder and a platform. So he's gonna work off the platform. We were gonna hoist it all up to the top of the tree, and we were gonna have nice solar array set up way up in the tree and get a lot of sun. But it's not gonna work. We tried, and just getting the rigging set up, it was just, and once Mark got up there, he looked around, there was about 40 trees kind of blocking it. It would work in the peak of the summer, but it's not gonna work in the spring and the fall, which is the season we're in right now. What we're gonna do is gonna take our little dog house here, and it doesn't get sun, it doesn't get a lot of sun where it is right now, but in front of me here, there's a little clearing, and it can be made bigger. It's away from the cabin. We wanted to move the doghouse away because it houses the gas generator, which is noisy, and we want to move it up a little higher. We've got enough cable that we can run it up there, and then if we cut a couple of trees up here, it'll be full sun for half the day. It's not going to be like all day like we had planned, but it's going to be good enough for what we need. So we're going to figure out a way to mount this up on the doghouse, and then I got to get Kevin over here with the tractor, and we're going to move it up there, and hopefully he'll cut a couple trees. The idea was not to cut any trees at all and setting up the solar system. It doesn't get enough sun here on the roof side because there's just too many trees, and we don't want to be in the open here. This is meant to be a cabin in the forest. So we're gonna have to cut a couple trees, but not too many up over here. One of those days when you have a plan in your head, it just doesn't work. So we've got a big coil of wire here. It's 30 feet long, but Energy said they would send me a custom sized one. I just had to let them know how long. And thankfully I didn't ask for like a 100-footer, because we don't need a 100-footer anymore. We need like a 50-footer to basically go from the doghouse, which is going to be up this way, to the cabin and we're going to put the battery pack inside the cabin. So I'm pretty happy with the solution. I think Mark's pretty happy with the solution because he only had to do 50% of the work we had anticipated. He's still up there getting the sticks down. If you haven't subscribed to Mark, give him a sub, only for, well, not only for the fact that he's helping me out, but also because he's putting out good content and he's trying to make a go of the YouTube thing. So it's Growing Up Gowdy. The link will be down in the description below. So we've got these little clips. I guess they're called S5s. They're for mounting solar brackets, I suppose. So what we're gonna try to do is get them on a rib here. They're a little bit too big for the rib, so we gotta use some brute force. Get them locked in there, and then we should be able to put the rails right on top, and we'll be done. A lot easier than climbing a tree, isn't it?
For the number of hours that we were looking to get out of hanging it in a tree, we could have just used that tree right there and gone just off the top of a 21-foot ladder and been done with it. With these cables, they have a male end and a female end. This being the female end. On the panels themselves, it has a male end, so you cannot make a mistake. There is a flat section, and you must squeeze those in with the flat section to the flat section. And then from that cable, it'll run right down into the energy box and start powering those batteries. So we're going to test it with the flexible panel first and see how that goes, and then we'll go to the non-portable unit, which once Kevin moves this, we'll get lots of energy out of it. I better just kick on. Okay, get those wires out of the way. Right now you're putting in 4 watts. Battery is fully charged, not accepting juice, but the solar panel is creating 4 watts, just enough to power the fan that's inside of the unit, keeping it cool. So your battery is currently at 12.57 volts, which is perfect.
And at 100%, and then 8 watts is what it's generating?
Yep.
Okay. So it works.
And it's basically trickle charging because the fan's on. So if you turn it to a DC load, on a DC load, it's dropped now because the sun got covered up by a cloud, but it's dropped down that the panel is still producing 4 watts. And there's no fan running, so there's no draw on the batteries other than this small LED light. All in all, it's an awesome little unit. Perfect for the mobile guy, bug out guy. That would work good for a bug out guy. And as soon as you step out of the way, it drops down. It's only drawing 8 watts for the fan because the balance of the load is being produced by the panel.
So this is obviously the portable version. The fixed version is going to be on the doghouse. That's going to be permanently set up. So I can take the little battery bank with me anywhere I go, plus this little flexible solar panel. And then we'll have the battery bank obviously is portable also, and it can be charged at home, which is the idea. So if I'm coming out here for the weekend, I want to make sure I have a full load. That's funny, right? A full load. I'll bring the battery bank and charge it, and then I'll bring it out here to 100%. And then as I'm out here, we can add more power to it simply by hooking it up to the solar panels, which we have on the doghouse. So that's going to be the setup, and we'll be testing it out, and we'll give you guys our feedback. And if you guys want to get a hold of one of these units, it'll be down in the description, and I'll probably pin a comment too so you can pick it up. And if you're looking for off-grid stuff, this is it. Apex and Energy is your brand. Super easy to set up if you don't have to climb a tree. Well, thanks for your help, Mark.
You're welcome.
Maple syrup for your troubles. Enjoy. That's the fresh maple syrup we got from this property. So our trim's not actually dry yet, but every night we've been running the Energy Apex system to try to dry it out. So we've got a big fan here, and I've just been plugging it in and juicing it up. It'll run all night, and so next day we take it back and then charge it up again and then repeat. So we actually been breaking this battery pack in, and it's actually does really good job. So it's gonna fire the fan up right now. So I'm gonna let this fan run, and we'll be back next day, put the trim in, and hopefully we get to move the doghouse out in the sun to get the system rocking like it should.
It's pretty weighty though.
It's a lot of food. You can eat that?
Well, eat at least some of it. Skin it, and then once you see how soft it is on the inside, that'll be determining whether it's still good to eat or not. It's a little oversized.
Yeah, a little.
It's huge.